And a good day to you, Explorer Nation. John Lynskey here, episode 7 of season 4, Looking Back with Lynskey. Very special guest today, only the fourth female guest on Looking Back with Lynskey. 29 years in the attendance office at Columbus High School, the crossroads, the belly of the beast sometimes. She sees more people in a day than anybody else at Columbus. She's held the office together, done an amazing job. Of course, I'm talking about the attendance queen herself, Miss Anna Fernandez, my dear friend. How are you, Anna? Thank you for
Good,
being here.
good, and you? I'm glad to be here. And the first female of this year. I'm upset that I wasn't the first ever, but
Well, obviously, Anna, we saved the best for last.
yeah,
I think that's
okay,
how we're going to look at it.
yeah.
So, 29 years, when you said that, it just made me shook my head, because how's that
How
possible?
did it
Because,
happen? It doesn't
how
seem.
did it happen? So let's talk about where it all began for you before you got to Columbus. You're a proud member, graduate, Coral Park, a Golden
Rams
Ram, class of 74.
for
Miami was different in
yes.
1974.
At, at that time, it was either Coral Park was divided by Jewish or
Uh-huh.
Americans. There were
You're
not many Cubans around then.
you are so right. I remember playing Coral Park. Their quarterback was a Jewish kid. Absolutely, positively.
Yep.
So it was a little bit, obviously, a little bit different. So, Anna, did you know or hang with any Columbus guys in the mid 70s?
Absolutely not. My
That was a
brother,
really good decision on your part.
yeah, it was. Can you imagine me mixing up with all you guys now that I know you after all these years?
Yes, it was a different time. Did you enjoy Coral Park?
Yeah, I believe it or not, I hadn't told you this, but now everybody's going to know. I was extremely shy growing up,
Wow.
extremely, to the point where my brother introduced me to all my friends because I just was quiet. And then in high school is senior year is when I started coming out of my shell.
Well,
So
we all listen. I didn't talk much in high school either, so I get it, but obviously we both were in positions where there's a lot of talking all day long. So,
absolutely,
um,
absolutely.
so you go to Miami Dade, and then you end up working at Bosch and Lom, which is
Mhm.
is a great place and very essential. How does one, though? Curious minds want to know. How do you get from a nice job at Bosch and Lom to the attendance desk at Columbus High School? Tell us how, because we all have a story how we got there. How'd you get there?
Okay, it was very easy. Bausch and Lomb was giving me a little bit of headaches here and there. I saw things happening. I was in the Latin American division. Okay, we
Okay.
sold the Ray Bans and the contact lenses. One perk to that was that my both my daughters wore glasses, and I got free glasses for my daughters, free frames. My daughters, I think, when they were 3 and 6, were the only girls with Ray-Ban sunglasses around because I got them for
Sweet.
free.
Sweet.
And when they swam, my oldest one was the only girl with prescription goggles. Back then,
Nice.
they were on a swim team, and but things started to happen at Bausch and Lomb, and I didn't like the direction it was going. So I said, let me see what's out there. Let me see the newspaper. I saw this ad for attendance at Columbus High School. I go, hey, you know what? It's in my neighborhood. Let's see what happens. I come in, and Brother Ray and Chris McKeon interviewed me. And when I left, I had the job, and
Honestly, how long was the interview?
10 minutes, 10,
Yeah.
15
Okay.
minutes at the most. It wasn't long, it was okay. You want the job? Yes or no? It's yours.
Did they really tell you? Because back then, particularly, Columbus didn't come with a user's manual, so to speak.
Absolutely
You know what I
not.
mean?
I freaked out because the lady that I was replacing was retiring. So when I would come, I got the job in May. And every morning before going to Bausch and Lomb, I would stop here from 7 to 8, get a little bit of training, and go to work.
So this
And
was
I
May of 94, Anna?
94,
94. Yeah.
94.
Okay.
And my official first day was August 1st.
Okay.
So I came in totally blind, not knowing what to do or how to do it. And
Isn't
I
that
go,
ironic? You worked at Bosch and Lomb and you come in totally blind to
yeah,
Columbus.
exactly. Exactly. How's that for you? But
That's an irony. So tell us so you learned by doing basically.
learn by doing, and I started coming up with my own little things, my red pen with the ID numbers and everything so everybody would know. But yeah, basically, the notes that I had and doing going day by day is how I learned how to do it.
And what was it like? Because back then it was just you and Mr. McKeon. He did
That's it.
everything on his own.
Right.
And how quickly did it take you to figure out that there's a lot of activity that goes on in the attendance office at Columbus High School?
It was crazy because back then the passes that we would give, they had like a credit card machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would put the attendance note in there and slide it so with the ID with their ID card.
Yeah.
Okay. And I go, oh my God, this doesn't stop. It's in and out constantly. And then when we had to call a student down to come to the attendance office, that little room where the paper is, they
Yeah.
had those old fashioned type of microphones.
Yes.
And then you would hit one button for which building it was and the other one for the room. And that's how we used to call the kids. So every time a parent would show up, I would have to go get up from my office. And my office back then is where Mr. McKeon is now. There
That's
wasn't a,
right. Oh,
there
yeah.
wasn't a wall there. It was a kind of U
Yeah.
type shaped desk. So yeah, every time a parent would come in, all right, get up, or anytime that Chris needed somebody, get up and go do that. It was crazy. It was really, and it took me a while to figure out how mad Mr. Chris was going to get and how he used to yell at the kids, how you guys used to yell at the kids. It was crazy.
What was it like as a woman? And there were a number of women working there in 94, but not as nearly as many as we have now. What was it like being totally thrown into the deep end of an all-male environment like that?
At first, it was a little bit intimidating, but then I said, no. I'm going to control these guys because if I don't control them, I'm not going to let them step all over me. And slowly but surely, I stood my ground and they knew who I was.
Yeah, they respect strength.
Yeah.
They do. They're like jackals. They circle and they look for the weak, the old,
The
the
weak link.
infirm. Yes.
Yeah.
But if you show strength, they back off. And
Absolutely.
how was it finding a balance between being maternal, because some boys need that,
Right.
and then putting the hammer down? Did that just being a parent had to help, but you had
Oh yeah,
daughters.
for sure.
So boys are different.
Boys in with that, what I found with the boys, and I'm the youngest of 8. I have
Yeah.
3 brothers.
Yeah.
Okay. And with boys, you can just tell them something and they'll forget about it. Girls, the drama, the whole 9 yards, whatever. You yell at them and then 2 minutes later they forget about it.
Yeah, girls will take it to the grave.
Exactly.
Boys will
Exactly.
boys will laugh about it 5 minutes later, but they also know when you're serious.
Yes,
you know
absolutely. They know when that line can be crossed and when it's okay to mess around. You know, when I tell them, okay, enough is enough, okay, then they back off.
Talk about, and you mentioned it a moment ago, and I want to build on it. Your job is so instinctive because things happen so fast. There's not a lot of time sometimes for communication. So a lot of what we did do is body language, things like that. How quickly did you learn Mr. McKeon's ways of doing things? Because I had my way of judging things. Tell me how what you did.
Yeah. No, it took a while to figure him out, which, because we all know how we treat the boys and everything else. And when it was really serious, it was really serious,
Yeah.
And you could tell, like in his body language, his voice, which one it was. Oh, okay, this is really, really serious, so you better back off, And I remember a lot of the times, the people in the other office, when Chris would speak, since he has such a strong voice to say, I don't know how else to say it, close the door and leave me there by myself. I go, you guys going to leave me here? And this guy's here yelling, and I'm going to take this all myself? I go, oh my God, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned quick.
Yeah. And Chris is so great because Chris knows everything. And so Chris did it for himself for forever, which I can't imagine. Okay. And then Juan Gomez, and then Dave Pugh, and then me, and then Alex Trujillo, and then Bob Linfors. Chris trained everybody.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And he has a style that really has become the way we have done things at Columbus for the last, I don't know, 40 years, whatever it may be. What would you say, Anna, is the hardest part of your job?
Being patient.
With kids or parents?
Both. Okay, because like I was saying, I grew up in a very strict household.
Okay.
My father was a school teacher in Daytona Beach, and he was very strict, and I kind of inherited a lot of his things. I realized that working here, and I go, oh my God, I'm just like my dad. And he's coming back to haunt me. He was very strict and wouldn't take any nonsense, but here I try to be as strict as I can with the boys. And then prime example, today Bob told him 1,000 times, no shorts, it's homecoming week. Asking me how many kids I had lined up in my office and how my patience, how long it took to run out, because it was like, don't you guys listen? And the point is, they don't listen. That's the whole thing. And that's one of the things that took me the longest to figure out, that they don't listen.
And I bet if you had a nickel for every time you've heard these two words, you would have retired decades ago. But miss.
Absolutely.
But miss.
But miss. Oh no. But no. It's ridiculous. I go, every 2 seconds, they come in the office, but miss, I was late, but no, it's crazy. Like you say, I could have retired a long time ago.
Yes, but miss, it's not my fault.
No. But miss, this kid today, oh, I got my shots, and he has a Band-Aid on his arm. Okay, yeah, okay. How many times can you put a Band-Aid on your arm? All the excuses that we've heard.
Oh, absolutely. Crazy. So how did the dynamic change when it went from just Chris? And by the way, my barometer for Chris will always be how red he is.
Absolutely. You can tell.
When it gets to that day glow tomato red, just go home.
Go home, because
it's over.
It's over at that point for sure.
How was it when Juan Gomez came in?
Wow. Juan was or is such a serious man, and as we all know, the Iceman, he was just
one of the great nicknames in Columbus history.
Yes. He was like no nonsense, to crack a smile on that man's face was crazy, and the kids were terrified of him.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Like we were afraid of Lou Savino when I was in school. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it
Absolutely.
worked,
It did. It did,
And
but when you came in,
well, no, wait. You skipped Mr. Pugh.
Mr. Pugh. No, Mr. Pugh was great. And again, like you say, his face, how red it got, and him that gets red out of nothing, but the redder it gets. And when he yelled, oh my God, those kids had a heart attack.
Because he doesn't yell very often.
No, at all. At all. I remember one time that we had some type of an emergency in the cafeteria, and Pugh went in there and he just let everybody have it. And a senior came and grabbed my hand and said, Miss, can I stand here with you? Because when he's like that, I'm scared of him. I go, okay, and you as well as you should be.
Yes. But I think that's it. The thing about Columbus, yelling constantly is not going to work.
No.
They tune it out. And I think that's one thing that all of us shared is you pick and choose your moments. Yep. So when you lose it, they know
that it's for a reason.
That it's for a reason. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what I've had to learn, myself, because sometimes I would raise my voice to the kids and then it would be, oh, she's mad again, but it's like you said, it's a constant flow of students in and out of my office. And you say, okay, now I'm going to get to do this. And then, but miss, and then you try to get ahead and you can't. But
yes, exactly. And it was so funny for me because we'd known each other forever, but
right.
As up in A22, and then when Pugh and McKeon coerced me into the job that I did not want, everything changed. You go from 53 minutes and everything's planned and you got this, you've got 6 periods, yada, to there is no schedule.
There is
it
none
goes
whatsoever.
Out the window. It is nonstop. I don't think people understand how much energy goes on in that office.
Absolutely not. Because you try to plan, like you say, but you can't because emergencies come up, kids coming in late constantly, certain interruptions. Yeah, you can't plan for it. You just have to go with the flow
and think on your feet. And I really came to enjoy it. I mean, it was a great dynamic down there.
Yeah, when they said that you were coming down and I'm there, oh my God, this is going to be, at first I go, how is this going to be possible? John being a disciplinarian? No. But then afterwards, when you came in and you started, I go, oh, okay, this is going to work. It's going to be different, but it's going to work,
Yeah. And it was a very rewarding situation. And again, the dynamics of when something is serious and when it has to happen, and I need this right now. And, the hardest thing is sometimes not being able to tell you what's going on, but making it clear to you that, no, really, this needs to happen right now.
Exactly.
And being able to count on you.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure on you.
No, but that's what I'm there for.
And speaking of situations you can't count on and you don't know what's going to happen next, yes, we had a major technical difficulty. And just like in the attendance office, all the well-planned ideas of men just go right out the window. So, Anna, yes, to pick up on what you were saying, something you learned many moons ago.
Many moons ago, when David came down and he was disciplinarian, anytime that he was going to go into the office and talk to a student and I didn't want to hear about it, I would just get my music and I put it full blast. And then that way I don't need to know anything or listen to anything that's going on, that's none of my business. You know, it's like the other day, Alex goes to me, "Hey, turn up your music because it's going to get loud in here." And I go, "Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's
I'm
going to
done."
get busy.
Yeah.
Um, what are some of the, and yeah, sometimes we deal with very serious things, and asking a boy to leave school, things like that, that's not fun.
No, absolutely
But
not.
there are some really, really funny moments that go on in that office.
Abs-
Any particular things that you remember well?
well, this one involves you.
Okay.
Many moons ago, we have what we call our good old conflict list, where a kid will be marked absent 1 or 2 periods, you know, and
Okay.
I track them down to see where they were. And a lot of times I would catch them skipping, you know. And this kid was in your, I think, fifth period class. Okay. So instead of calling into the classroom, I went up to see you and open the door, all the incense, all your things all over the classroom, whatever. And I said, and I walked in there, I go, "Oh my God, this classroom, this kid is ID number so and so," because I have a memory for ID numbers.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And for whatever reason, all the losers were in that class. It had to
Yeah.
be a
Go,
phase
go,
two,
go figure. Yeah.
phase two class in there. And this kid, um, I go, "Where were you this such and such period?" And he just went quiet. And you said to him, "Either we take care of it now or you go downstairs," you know? And we took care of it up there, you know?
There's always a direct way to do business, and the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Just
Exactly.
get it
Nip it in
done.
the bud right then and there.
Yeah.
And one time I got Caracart's son skipping,
Okay.
and he goes, "You tell that." I'm not gonna say what he said, you know,
But he
take him,
did.
yeah, McKeon right now, and tell that kid that he's, and he just lost it. And he says,
Yeah.
"Kill him," you know? But back then we could do these things. Now is a whole different ball game. But
Yeah, it's different, no
yeah,
doubt. Times change. I mean, teachers used to smoke in class too. We didn't have air conditioning, so things do change. And so let me ask you, since you mentioned it, Anna, have the kids changed or have the rules changed? Because people always say, well, the kids have changed. The kids have changed. I don't know that the
no,
kids have changed.
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
Okay, because now what happens is you have all the technology. Kids don't know how to speak.
Well, that's true.
They're so used to texting and whatever, and they don't know how to speak. When you ask them to explain something, oh, a kid came in today. Well, yeah, no, I need a pair of pants. Why? Oh, and just kept mumbling, and they don't know how to speak.
They
You
can't
know,
speak in complete sentences. Yeah, that's true.
you
That's true.
know, the rules basically, I want to say, are almost the same. We haven't wavered from a kid being late to school that they get a detention, or a kid skipping or whatever. All the rules to me, I think, are about the same, you know. But I think the kids have changed a little bit. They have, you know,
Yeah.
and me not being sarcastic, you know. When the kids come in, I always say good morning, and they look at me like, "Huh, what?" And
What?
then I go into my one word sentences, question and answer. "Good morning, how are you?" "I'm fine, thank you for asking." And then they go, "Oh, good morning."
Sorry, miss.
Yeah, exactly. But miss or sorry miss, one of the two,
Yeah.
you know.
So it was another step, couple steps of change is the amount of paperwork you had to do and the amount of things you were responsible for as our student body approached 1700. The decision was made to add an assistant. And
Yes.
and what has Jasmine Urubi meant to you?
Okay. Well, first of all, when I went to Brother Kevin, I told him, "Hey, listen, I'm at a breaking point that I can't do this by myself anymore. It's way too much." So they hired Jasmine, and she has been a great addition to me because without her, I can't do it. And we've worked well together. We've separated, okay, you're going to do this and I'm going to do that, you know, and it has worked out well, very well. Thank God that I have her, because if not, if either one of us are out sick, it's
It's a disaster.
it's a disaster.
It's a
It's
disaster.
impossible for one person. Now that we're almost at 1800, it is a disaster if one person's out.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, and Jasmine, the Colombian Rose, certainly is brought her own style to the
Absolutely.
attendance office. I remember the first time I met Jasmine. You may not remember. I had my knee replaced, and the first day I showed up, it was like 10 days after surgery. I was out of my mind, and it was her first day there, and she
Oh
looked at
gosh.
me like, "What is wrong with this person?" You
Well,
know,
we all knew what was wrong, but
yeah, but she didn't.
okay, so we had to let her in slowly.
Oh, but man, we there was a really good sense of teamwork, and that's the one thing that the continuity. It doesn't matter who's down there. There's a great sense of teamwork, and then aside from adding Jasmine, it was finally decided, even for the deans, for me and Chris, it was just enough because Dave was helping quite a bit when he became principal. Dave's
Oh
still
yeah,
everything,
he does everything.
He
If we
does
need
everything.
him, if he hears something on the radio and he says, "Okay, do you guys need me, or what's the problem?" Or if he hears me, he goes, "Anna, do you need me?" It's incredible.
Yeah, and I think having him become principal, one thing Columbus is for sure is safe.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
there's no bullying, there's no harassment after ninth grade. Certainly, you got to work
Right.
it out with the ninth graders.
And that's one thing that I wanted to commend you guys about, because anytime you guys heard of anything, any bullying or whatever, the kids knew that they could come down, speak to you, and it was nipped in the bud right away.
Yeah, and I that's something we're very proud of, that the kids. Yeah, the dean is supposed to have some kind of reputation of this or that, but we're also very approachable, and I
Right.
think they felt comfortable with that,
Exactly.
and they knew things were going to get taken care of.
Absolutely. As well as the parents, because
Yeah,
sometimes parents would approach me and say, "Oh no, but I don't want to talk to the dean because of this, that, or the other." And then I go, "No, no, 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 no. You can. They're very good people." I lied sometimes, but um, yeah, that they're going to resolve the issue. And sometimes there were sensitive issues that
yeah,
needed to be resolved, and
yes,
they went to you guys, and you guys took care of everything. That's one thing that I know that the parents are thankful for, and I know that you guys take care of whatever business needs to be taken care of.
and speaking of taking care of business, like you needed assistant, it finally got to be just too much, too many things for Chris and me, and we brought in Alex Trujillo,
Right.
and Alex is another one that brought his own style to the table.
Absolutely. He is like you, OCD to the extreme. You remember when I would used to go into your office? He You had all your pens lined up in a certain way, and just to mess with you, because I knew how upset that would you get you, I would just grab all your pens and throw them down. I
Yeah, and you succeeded because a fight in the cafeteria, no problem. You know, kids skipping class, no problem. Rearranging my pens, big
problem.
problem.
Yes. Well, Alex is the same way.
Yes, he is. He's worse than me, I think.
Yes. Okay. So if I just leave his pad a little bit turned or whatever, yeah, but no, he's very organized, very detailed, you know, and yeah, it's like a continuation of you keep on going, but in a different way,
You
a
know,
little different.
and then Bob was in a very similar situation to me. I mean, Alex came in and had to go through the whole COVID situation, which was a
Right.
hell of a way to start your
E-
career there. And,
Exactly.
you know, but we made it work. Bob didn't want to leave the classroom, loved what he was teaching, you
Hmm.
know, you know, he felt very similar to how I did about it, but I think he's really come to find gratification in the job, and he certainly brought his own style. The best
Oh
thing
yeah,
Bob ever tried to do was not be me.
ex- it's hard to be you, but no, he has his own set. Because I at first I thought, especially you with your announcements and everything, your buffoonery and this and that, buenos tiempos, all that good stuff, that I go, God, how's Bob gonna do some match that, because forget it, you're a legend, everybody knows you're a legend, and everybody loves the way your style, you know and then I go, how is Bob gonna be as good as John? But he's proven his own, he's done his things his own way, and people like it, you
Right.
know
Always be yourself.
absolutely.
That's the key.
Hmm.
Um, Something that's very important to you, and I think it's very important at Columbus High School, uh, and we have a shared experience, campus ministry.
Yeah,
How did you get involved with campus ministry?
I went on a retreat many, many years ago. I don't know if it was Dugard or whatever, but it was Mary McCullough and myself that
Okay.
we went to one of the retreats. And then when Dugard came along, and I go, I want to do something. I want the boys to see me in a different light
Yeah.
than
Okay.
the the many names that they have given me in the attendance office. I go, I want them to see, okay, she's not that bad of a person. She's got personality, that I'm not going to be there being super serious. So, and as you know, that the rosary to me is super special,
Yeah.
and I said to Dugard, why don't I teach the boys how to pray a rosary? you know and I would share part of my story with them before the rosary, just to break up the ice and whatnot, whatever. So this has been going on at least 10, 15 years, that
I'd say, yeah, I'd say 15.
every every retreat I go and have a fabulous meal with the boys and do our rosary.
Yeah,
you know
fabulous meal.
yeah,
But I think that's what you said is such a great point. I think it's very important for the boys to see you, any
right,
of us, administration, teachers, staff, whatever, other than just the role we play,
absolutely.
you know, and go ahead.
I remember, I'm sorry, one football game, I think one of the games that we went up to state,
Okay.
that our bus broke down. We couldn't go eat or anything. And then on the way home, I told the bus driver, no, 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 we're stopping to eat. And one of the kids turns around and says, wow, she's not as mean as you guys said she was. She's actually nice. And I'm like, okay, great. So that's what my goal when I go to the retreats, just for them to see me different, you know?
And it also shows that you care about them as people.
Yes,
And I think
absolutely.
that's something that is sorely underestimated in school today, that kids are recognized as people and that teachers are recognized as people. Because the great thing about school, and you know this, because so many of the guys have come back to work at Columbus,
Hmm.
you're only in high school for 4 years
Right.
and then you're going to move on, but you're always going to have a connection because Columbus guys are Columbus guys.
Yes, and they
You
always
know,
come back.
they always come
Can't
back.
get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want them walking out the door with a negative, perspective. You want the,
Absolutely.
and 99% of them don't. They love the place.
Yes.
And it's great when they come back, when you can put aside the mandated, I have to be this way, this is my job, I have to do this, and no, this is who I am and this is who you are. And then you can laugh. You remember that time we should have thrown you out of school, yada yada
Yeah,
yada.
exactly.
And they're like, well, thank you, sir, because you should have thrown me out of school, but you
Yeah.
didn't,
I-
and I learned, you know and thank you, miss, for reminding me to do all these things, you know
Absolutely. It's so nice to see them after they have grown up, they've become men, and they come back and wow, we can have a normal conversation now.
yeah.
Because and there was one kid that was in our office every single afternoon that he was served detention there for 4 years.
Oh,
And now
yeah, yeah, yeah. Infinity plus one. Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That now you see him and go, "Oh my god, he's actually a nice guy now," you know?
We
But
invest a lot in our kids, and they
we
pay
do.
us back.
Absolutely. It's I compare it to when you have, kids and then you have an adult child that you
Yeah.
can have a normal conversation. That's what I compare them to.
Oh, I agree. And Anna, from your perspective, how important is the female presence at Columbus High School? Because there were a couple when I was in school. It was a frat house basically when I went to
Right.
Columbus. It's not that way anymore.
No, I think it's very important because another thing we haven't touched upon is you don't know half the time what these kids are dealing with.
Yeah,
You don't know what's their home life,
yeah,
and if a female person can represent the mother and represent a role model like a mom, caring and nurturing, that's so important for them. Super important, you
yeah.
know?
And we can't do that. Us,
No,
meaning us men. We can do a lot, but we can't do that.
you don't have that motherly touch
No,
that
and
we do.
I think it's a wonderful thing that you guys bring to the table. It's a yin and yang.
Hmm.
It's a good balance.
Absolutely.
And So if I was to ask you after all these years, what does Marist mean to Anna Fernandez? What We use that term all the time.
We
What's it
use it
mean to you?
all the time.
What's it mean to you?
Being caring to the students, okay? Being, and they say this all the time, trying to be like Mary, you
Yeah.
know? And I see the love that there's here and how the family atmosphere is. All that to me is being Marist. That I didn't think when I started I would be here 29 years. I go, how the hell did this happen? And it's a family. Everybody says, "Oh, it's we're a family," So all that to me is being Marist
Yeah, and I do enjoy that aspect of it, even when it gets dysfunctional at times.
at times.
Because you get an opportunity, because the turnover rate at Columbus is so low.
Yeah,
you
it's
know, you
practically non-existent.
you grow old together,
Absolutely.
literally. You
Yep.
watch each other's kids grow up, get married, and all those things. And,
Hmm.
we've been very fortunate. I mean, you stumbled into it. It's what I really wanted to do. And, we've ended up spending a great deal of our lives together. And,
Absolutely. And it goes with the good and the bad. We've shared a lot of good, mostly good, some bad. But again, I think that we have very close friends.
yes,
You know, I I don't just consider you a friend. You're more than a friend.
yes.
Even though you were my boss, whatever. But we've that's that's what we do here.
The best compliment I can give you, Anna, in those situations we sometimes would get in, is I could count on you and I could trust you.
Absolutely the
And
same.
when it's all hitting the fan, it's good to know. Well, Chris and I don't got to worry about that. Dave don't got to worry about that. Anna's got that covered. We'll do the rest. That's the best compliment I think you can give anybody, is that you can count on them. And
Thank you.
and we did have fun.
We had loads of fun, and we're still having fun.
Yes, we are. And this was fun.
Yeah.
So I really thank you for taking the time to do this today. I know that the attendance office is going to be in good hands as long as you're there. And I hope you're there a little while longer, but
Yeah,
it's going to be
a
that
couple more
point.
years. We'll give it a couple more years.
Good enough. The boys
Yeah.
will benefit from that.
Thank
So
you.
attendance queen, the voice of an angel, no
Oh,
doubt
you had
about
to
that, resonating across the campus. Yes,
please pardon the interruption.
there it is.
There
And
it
at that
is.
moment, Mr. Avalos is tearing the speaker out of the wall in the C building.
Except if I talk to him about the Dolphins, and then we're all good.
Family, Anna.
Family.
That's it. So, Explorer Nation, I hope you've enjoyed this inside look at how the attendance office at Columbus actually works. Thank you to Anna for everything she has done. Looking ahead, Adelante, as they say, looking ahead, we've got some great guests coming up from all different walks of life that explorers travel down. And so stay tuned. We got some good things coming. So once again, men, take it easy. Buenos tiempos and adelante. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you.